Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Dr. Candice, your board certified pediatrician and kid health expert. And today is the word in the clinic. The word in the clinic is eczema. And that's what we all know it as, but the technical term is atopic dermatitis. So that's what we're talking about today. I want to give you some tips. Hi, Shamara. I want to give you some tips on how to soothe your child's dry, itchy skin, okay? Now, eczema or atopic dermatitis is common in kids. It's one of the most common skin conditions in kids. Oftentimes we can see it right after a child is born. Hi, Peter. Thanks for watching. We can see it right after a child, very soon after a child is born. It is very worrisome for parents, like I said, because we just want our children's skin to look good. And, you know, newborn babies, young babies under 1, we see those rashes, we worry, okay? But it is common. And so I see it a lot. I treat it a lot. And I just want to give you some tips today. Most children will outgrow their eczema. They really will. So we say, hold on, do these things. It's going to get better. No problem. A small percentage of people, though, continue to have it all their life. So you do see adults with eczema. And still, those same tips apply to help them maintain the condition and to make them feel better and prevent any complications from occurring. So my tips are, I have 3 tips. The first is dry skin is itchy skin. So eczema or atopic dermatitis is all about dry skin, okay, and itchy skin. And so if you don't promote moisture in the skin, if you don't get rid of the dryness in the skin or try to work on to improve that skin is going to continue to be itchy. And we know with eczema, the more the skin itches, especially young children, they're going to scratch. There's no way you can tell them not to. They can't help it. They're going to scratch, and the more they scratch, the rash comes. So eczema is the itch that rashes. Okay, so you want to promote moisture. Hey, Jacory, you want to promote moisture in the skin so the skin's not so dry, therefore it won't be so itchy, and that rash will be less worse. Okay, how do you do that? So promoting moisture in the skin by you use emollients, not just those thin, wispy, watery lotions. You want to get products that are supported by I think it's called the American Eczema Association. They'll have a stamp on the products that say that they support it for the use of eczema to moisturize the skin. And so literally it's going to be something that's more thicker or have those healing, nurturing properties for the layers of the skin that aren't acting the way that they should. Okay, so look for that stamp. Products that I recommend are like Aquaphor, the Eucerin products, the Aveeno products, Cetaphil, things of that nature. So definitely you want to grease the skin. I always say twice a day at least, but if your child's very dry, you can do it more than that, especially if they're with you, they're not at school. And especially after you give them a bath, maybe in the evenings, you want to not dry them totally, and you want to moisturize that damp skin to seal in the moisture. So greasing that skin is so important. So that's my first tip. Prevent the skin from being dry. The second tip is hot skin is itchy skin. So in these winter months, we definitely are bundling our kids up. They're in sleepers, they're in a coat, several layers. And oftentimes they're a little sweaty and they're hot. And most of us without eczema, when you get really hot, you may become a little itchy. So you don't want your child to get hot and itchy like that, because again, they're going to scratch. It flares and inflames the skin. And again, that scratching is going to further promote the irritation, the rash formation of eczema. So you definitely want to keep the skin nice and cool and comfortable. So you want to use fabrics. They're clothes, very breathable, cotton type materials. You don't want to put them in itchy, scratchy, overly hot wool, things of that nature. You want to watch the fabrics that you put on them. When you give them a bath, you don't want super hot or too warm water. You want to use tepid water. because if they're too hot, they're going to be itchy. I have so many patients complain when they get in a hot bath or shower, they really itch a lot. And so you want to make that water tepid, okay? So don't overbundle. Decrease making their skin too warm, too hot, okay? Keep them cool, basically, all right? And I know that's counterintuitive to the winter months, but maybe just dress in layers so as they get hotter, you see them being a little flushed or telling you they're hot, you can take some of those layers off, okay? The third tip is irritated skin is itchy skin. And that goes to everything we just talked about, because all of that stuff, dryness and hotness, irritates the skin. But the point I'm making here is that we want to protect our children from chemical irritants, okay? So eczema prone skin or eczema is very sensitive, okay? So we can't put all the scents and dyes, irritating products on the skin. So I know a lot of us love our kid to smell great. We use the Johnson and the Blue Magic and all this stuff because it smells so good. But a child with atopic dermatitis can't tolerate that, and that's going to continue to flare their skin and make the skin worse. And so we want to use products that are scent-free, dye-free, that are very moisturizing, and those that are supported by the Eczema Association, the American Eczema Association, that has been shown and proven to promote healing and maintaining eczema type skin. Okay, so scent-free, dye-free soaps, scent-free, dye-free clothes detergents, scent-free, dye-free dryer sheets, all of that stuff. Maybe they can't do all the Bath and Body Works or perfumes and lotions and all of that stuff. Maybe they have to dab it on their clothes instead of directly on their skin for our older, like our teenagers that still have eczema. So just be careful with all of that. You just have to really treat the skin sensitive, okay? So those are my tips for today. Tips on how to soothe your child's dry, itchy skin if they have eczema or atopic dermatitis. So dry skin is itchy skin, so keep the skin moist. Hot skin is itchy skin, so keep them nice and cool with certain fabrics and watching the temperature of the bath. And then also irritated skin is itchy skin, and all that itchiness promotes that bad rash of eczema. And so you want to make sure you keep them away from chemical irritants by using scent-free, dye-free products. Everything that can go on their skin, you want to make it scent-free, dye-free as best you can, okay? Doing these things on a regular basis will help to maintain the eczema so that it won't get so bad, whereas the child can break the skin, have discolored skin, and potentially get their skin infected. So also, if that doesn't work and your child's atopic dermatitis is still out of control and they're miserable and it doesn't look good, you want to make sure you see your pediatrician. Some children will need steroidal or non-steroidal topical solutions that we can put on the skin. They'll need other therapies. We use things to cut down on itch and things of that nature. So definitely work with your pediatrician to help soothe the eczema as well. So that's all I have for today. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave those in comment. Also on Kidding Around with Dr. Candice podcast, I have a full episode in the younger days of the podcast with my friend dermatologist Dr. Marcy Joseph. I think it's around episode 15, and that'll give you even about an hour worth of great information about eczema, and that's worth listening to. So you can go to SoundCloud, Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or Apple Podcasts. So Bianca asks, hi Bianca and Joe, and Aunt Ruth, can eczema show up in the scalp? Absolutely. So the scalp is the skin. So eczema can show up in the scalp, anywhere on the skin. Absolutely. And there are preparations to treat it there as well. So that was a great question. But thank you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week with the word in the clinic.